Hey, welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message for Taurus. Know that energy is fluid, so roles can be reversed, flip it, switch it, twist it. You know the drill. Just interpret the message as it best resonates for you. Always take what you need, leave the rest, never force anything. I know that if you're new to the channel, anything of any relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box below. You could also find important links to my website, links to Patreon, social media, all that jazz. All right, now, if you're looking to win a free psychic reading with me, if you resonate with this video, please give it a share, a like, and if you want to win a free psychic reading with me, all you need to do is like, comment the word forgiveness. Tonight's word is going to be forgiveness, and subscribe to the channel. Those three things. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word forgiveness. And again, this message is going to be for Taurus, but if you happen to land on it, and let's just say you didn't hear this beginning part, and you listen to it, and you resonate with it, well, guess what? The message was meant for you too. Because, readings are spiritual, so they work like a magnet to who and what needs to hear. So I always notice that the readings tend to unfold from the person that's the most obsessive. So if you're connected to someone and you're really obsessive about your situation, like you can't stop thinking about it, you're really worried about it, there's a lot of energy you're putting on it where you're thinking about it, there's a lot of emotions towards it, well, then the reading will unfold from your perception. It's always the person that needs to hear it. And so the person that's most emotional is going to need it. Though cross watchers always get a lot out of the reading. It's just the way that it goes. All right, now Taurus. Well, look, this just came out, oneness. I don't read my cards upside down. So when I'm thinking oneness, I'm thinking soulmate. I'm thinking like unity. I'm thinking when we really feel connected to someone, we feel like we're one, right? Soulmate, twin flame could make up one. Quantum Cohen. A lot of spiritual energy. And quantum Cohen's talks about the synchronicities and the signs of the universe. And so I feel like, and Christ consciousness, again, and that's unconditional love. So this is a very spiritual energy. So the spiritual energy could be the oneness is a twin flame soulmate, quantum Cohen's. But because it was upside down, and though I don't read my cards upside down, there was an energy that I was picking up of that it was a little bit out of balance. However, quantum Cohen's is like the signs and synchronicities and spiritual energy, and Christ consciousness is just unconditional love when I'm summarizing. So, like, even though there's been ups and downs, I feel like there's still this unconditional love. So a lot of times when we have a soulmate twin flame relationship, it's a relationship that comes together and then goes apart, and then comes together and goes apart. And every time that there's a separation, both parties work on each other. And both parties do some healing. Now, there is always a runner and a chaser, and a lot of times the runner and chaser change roles within that while the courtingship, while they're trying to get together. A lot of times soulmate twin flame relationships, they can never get together because you're dealing with the other half of you, which means that you're dealing with your exact opposite that has the same wounds that you do. But then things completely different. So you're with someone that might be very logical, very linear, that isn't good emotionally, that tends to not tries not to rely on their emotions, doesn't want to be led by intuition, wants to be led more by logic. But the problem is, only looking at things from a logic perception is imbalanced. Now, you may be someone that's very spiritual and only likes to look at your situation from a spiritual perspective, but only looking at your situation from a spiritual perspective would be imbalanced and also not good. So the union together is supposed to create balance, because again, it makes us be different, it makes us do different, because unconditional love makes us do that. So again, though I was feeling it came upside down, that there could be a separation, though there is a might have been a separation, and we'll see later on as I pull cards. But if there was, it doesn't matter, because there was still unconditional love. It was like, wait a minute, Christ consciousness. It's like, so you may be dealing with someone that has a big ego that tends to, again, be very logical and never really believed about love, and now is becoming more spiritual, is the energy there. So I feel like someone's becoming aware of the depth of this relationship, Taurus, between you and them. Even if you're in separation, the connection is much deeper than just a regular connection. Again, greedy, though I feel like your person, it was all about themselves, tended not to look at things from any other perception. So you may say, again, soulmate, twin flame person tended to think about relationships more from a physical perception, whether they were attracted to that person, whether the person looked good on paper, but they never really built a relationship. So they tended to just look at relationships from what they needed, what they wanted. So they seem very greedy and selfish. But I feel like this relationship between you and them is changing them, because it's, again, unconditional love makes us do things different. And I felt like there was a separation. So the separation could be like where your person is realizing that they still have feelings after they usually never still have feelings when things don't work out. Usually they don't care. So being that they realizing that they care, they're looking at their behavior. And I feel like that's why they're realizing that they weren't really as fair. That's the energy that I am feeling. Let's look at some wounds. I want to look at triggers and wounds. I always like to look at the spiritual energy first, because the spiritual energy helps us realize why certain things are happening the way that they are. It's what's influencing the reading. All right. Okay, scheming. So again, your person's very logical. So what I'm feeling is, though they're realizing the way that they were, it's like they're still not emotionally intelligent. So I do feel like they're trying to plot it, because I do feel like you guys are in separation. So they may be scheming, trying to figure out like a way to get back into your good graces, which is irritating because they don't want to show how much they care. So this is why they do it. But then it's, again, they're not acting from their true self. Their true self is being able to be vulnerable when you have feelings for someone, being able to express yourself, to be able to ask for what you need. This person isn't doing any of that. They have blocks in their relationship. It's not supposed to scheme. But we know that because your person was, again, they only cared about themselves, greedy. Again, out of tune, in your own world, rebel without a cause. Again, they're like it. So they didn't really want to, they never really felt like they fit into relationships. Again, they never looked at relationships properly. They were never taught. So sometimes, again, when we grow up in households where we never saw like a healthy relationship, that's the energy there, that they're a little bit outdated in their thinking. They're not realistic. They want someone that I feel like almost like they want someone that is their own person, but then want someone that is like obedient to them. So it's like a little bit like just one-sided. Everything's one-sided. So they were very immature. And that's why they don't fit in anywhere. That's why it's again, because they don't really fit in anywhere because they only think about things from their own perception, their own point of view, their own wants, their own needs. So everything is a scheme. It's not like, again, when you're in a relationship, you're supposed to be getting to know that person. So we can see this is behaviorism that's playing out. So do they have feelings? Yes. Do they realize that this is an important connection? Yes. But are they still like playing games, not coming forward? Yes. The reason why, because they feel inadequate. They feel like there's something wrong with them. They feel like relationships don't work out for them. They feel like there's something with them. The triggers. Let's look at the triggers. There are triggers. Illusion. I was living under the illusion that this was going to be perfect. I let myself down. I feel like that could be you, Taurus, because I think that this person, you know, when you have a spiritual connection, when you have it, and this could be actually mirroring energy, because soulmate, twin flame, there's always a lot of mirroring. So when you tap into a person that feels like home, and you can feel the synergy, again, that's what quantum coherence is all about. And then it is one of unconditional love, Christ consciousness, the highest of love, and where this is like a oneness. But then your person has like, again, they only came from from all about them. They never cared about. And so because of that, they handle everything by like trying to scheme, trying to manipulate to try and get their way. It's like you weren't looking at that. You never came from that perception. You, again, tend to look at things through a spiritual perception. You don't look at things through that physical perception. And the physical perception is one of a lower energy, meaning like you look good on paper. What are you going to do for me? Love isn't that. Lust is that. So it's again, I believe your person always came from a lower energy, thinking that that was love. They didn't know any better. They never experienced a relationship like this. Like that is unconditional love. That is like, this is as spiritual as it gets. When meanwhile, your person is not spiritual at all. They were living from that, from this lower energy. So I believe for you, Taurus, it was like an illusion, because what the hell? And it was an illusion for them. Like, wait a minute, I thought it was going to be all fantasy and sex and hot and passionate. And it's like, I actually love you and have feelings for you, but it brings up all my shit. This is what it is, Taurus. And so your person isn't really reacting positively. They're acting very immature because they need to healing. And the reason why is because they don't feel like they never saw themselves as like being in a relationship. They always, you know, in their own world, a rebel without a cause. Like, I'd rather be a learner. I'd rather be seen as like a rebel and a bachelor, a bachelorette, instead of like becoming subservient in being in a relationship because they had a bad recollection of what relationships were. I feel because they grew up in a family that they didn't really see that, even if the family was a good family, but maybe to what they witnessed, how their dad treated their mom or how their mom treated their dad. It was just not a life that resonates with who they are now. So because of that, they're like, I don't resonate with that type of life. And it's like, I'm not happy. It bores me. So I'd rather be a rebel and an outcast. But obviously, what an illusion that is. That's an illusion for the person that is like, wait a minute, you're my soulmate twin flame. You're supposed to treat me with unconditional love. You're supposed to be treating me like this. And because this is who you are to me. And it's like, and I know you can feel that because there's that synergy, that spiritual energy. And here you are, like conniving to see how you can have your cake and eat it too, or figure out how you can like manipulate. Why? Because that person doesn't feel safe. That person doesn't really know who they are, it seems like. Judged. I felt my thoughts and feelings and emotions were being judged by you. So this is again how I know your person is on a lower vibration, how they're insecure, because here it is, it's like you have this soul relationship as spiritual as it could possibly be, this union, it's a divine union, and it's like they're not treating you well. So you try and speak to them nicely, Taurus. And now, Taurus, you could be the one that's the hard ass. You got to take it as the reading resonates. But here it is. You're the one that's like, let me just explain to you. Let's have a conversation so I can explain to you, because I know that you care about me. I can feel this energy. You're like, we have this unconditional love, this deep connection that goes as high as it can possibly go. And everything that I say to you, instead of you taking it as like, oh, this is what she needs, this is what Taurus needs instead, or this is what he needs, take it as it resonates, you're going to act judged. They're going to twist it around. So they're not going to hear what your complaint was. They're not going to look at how they treated you. They're just going to hear what you say to them. And the moment that you said something, they felt judged. And then it's like, because they felt judged, they felt like it was an illusion. Like, I let myself down because I thought that this was a perfect relationship, a soulmate. So your person is not realistic. They haven't taken the time to get to know you. You want them to get to know you. And they want to do things kind of backwards, is what I'm feeling. But then they're not coming. They've not in the past come from a place of equal, how they dealt with you in the past. And they still are the type to scheme, to figure out, to manipulate, because they don't feel safe and they always want things on their terms. They're very greedy. So that doesn't go, that's not the same vibration as a high vibrational union, like soulmate twin flame relationship. When you have two parties that have done the work, healing work, they come together to create. But the passion that they have, the connection that they have to each other, and creating, is the energy that is going to transmute whatever spiritual blocks. Because the law of spirit is, when you have soul wounds, a lot of trauma, that trauma we have a hard time working through. We have a hard time working through it because we weren't brought up in an environment that taught us how to do it. So again, you're connecting to a soulmate twin flame, that's your other half. So there is a lot of love. There is a lot of passion. And it's the fire and the passion that transmutes those negative wounds. And so the soulmate and the twin flame, they do things together, they create together. There's usually a project that they do together, something that, contributes to humanity in some way. And they learn how to work together. They learn how to communicate. They learn how to trust. They learn how to be compassionate. They learn how to forgive, because they have this intense, deep love which is that strong spiritual connection that we saw, like that this is a divine union, but your person is not acting like that. They're not stepping up. They didn't step up. So now they're realizing how deep this connection is because they still have feelings. They did a lot of things to sabotage, to walk away, to forget this relationship, and they can't. And so, but understand the depth of this connection is because both parties have deep-seated wounds that wouldn't be able to be healed on their own. They're healed through the passion, the connection. So it's a difficult relationship because it's going to bring out every single wound in order for you to work through it, in order to become your best self. You're doing that to your person, Taurus, and your person is supposed to do that to you. You, again, are walking your walk. Your person is not. So right now they're acting like a fake soulmate, twin flame, or karmic. Bluff, calling your bluff was the most satisfying thing I've ever done. I feel like that's you, Taurus. I said, because person played a lot of games. But when they play a lot of games, after a while, you were seeing, you're like, okay, like you're not really offering me anything. Like you're always like, everything's one-sided in your relationship. It's like the way that you handle relationships, just period. It's all about you. And that it shows that's your person was greedy. They only cared about themselves. They handled, again, the relationships from a controlling perception. So within the relationship, and you could always feel that you weren't being treated well. Well, you did what you needed to do in order for them. You got that person's attention. They see it. So let's see. I dream of you. Your person, again, still has those feelings. So that's a subconscious mind, which a lot of times when person needs to heal and they don't want to heal, especially in a relationship, soulmate, twin flame, you know, a lot of times people think that they can control love. You can't control love. And so what happens is, it's like I said, the signs and synchronicities, well, this is one of them. Like your person's torturing themselves. I ran away because I felt I couldn't live up to your needs and expectations. And that's what I was saying. Soulmate, twin flame, your person needed to rise to the occasion, and you were putting it out there for them, saying, hey, like, this is what it is. So they were trying to like have everything their way, you know, come in and out when they felt like it, not really have a deep connection, tried to treat you the way that they treated everybody else. Surface. And what happened? It backfired. Silent treatment. So it's again, then they tried to like not speak to you, tried to emotionally manipulate you. So you try to get you to give them more because once they, you know, they were scheming, that was part of their scheming. It's like, I'm going to give you the silent treatment because I can feel how much you like me. I can feel this connection. And so, you know, they weren't thinking that that connection was not just because of how you felt, it was also towards how they felt. They didn't realize how much you meant to them. And so they gave you the silent treatment and you called their bluff. And that's why they ran away, because they were like, oh, you want me to step up? But they ran away, tried to walk away from the relationship, but you're still there because, again, you can't just shut love off. You can't control love. God is love. So when we're talking soulmate, twin flame relationship, we're talking divine union. It means that God has brought you two together. And it's like you're not exactly the other half of that person. However, your wounds are your person's strength, and your person's strength or vice versa. So, so they are your other half in a way. And the unconditional love that you have for your soulmate makes you do things different. And the passion that you have for each other will transmute the energy. However, like I said, it's getting on the same page. Your soulmate and twin flame on the same page, and your person's coming in not on the same vibration. But a lot of times, this is what it takes for a person to get on the right vibration. I'm planning on reaching out to you. Well, that's a good sign. This means that they're surrendering their ego. Remember, the person was greedy. They wanted everything on their terms. They gave you the silent treatment in hopes that you would give them more, and then try to, like, scheme their way. So they played a lot of games because they feel inadequate. They like, I don't really like relationships, possibly because they wind up giving too much. And then when you said something, they felt a judge, they twisted it around. And here they are, tried to run away, tried to ignore you, tried to forget about it. And they're planning on reaching out now. So they're surrendering their ego. And that's important because that means respect. That means that the person is no longer just in lust. That means they respect you. And that means you have a good foundation for a relationship. Where before, your person was not doing that. When the relationship was only about them, divine union or not, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been karmic and it would have been bad. Because it's, again, we train people. If you let a person treat you the way that they want to treat you all the time, they'll never take your feelings into consideration. And over time, that would bother you. And then you'd fight, because anybody would. You can't teach a person after the fact how you want to be treated. Let's see. Okay, you are the person of my dreams. So it's, again, your person realizes, like you said, that this is an important relationship. That's why they are going to plan on reaching out to you. One more for the soulmate twin flame deck. Let's see. One last message. I'm sorry for being critical of you. I know I hurt you with my harsh words and actions. I feel like that's kind of like the way that you feel, like a little bit, Taurus. Like, if this person comes back to you, I'm going to say that I feel like your person twisted things around, because, like, instead of taking responsibility, they twisted it. They gave you the silent treatment. They projected. One more. I want to leave it off on that one. That was I long for you, but can't express it. I'm trying to heal my childhood wounds so I don't hurt you again. So your person, in short, we're going to sum it up. Your person feels inadequate, like they don't belong, mainly because they're childhood wounds. So they don't express themselves. So instead of being able to communicate, they scheme and they manipulate because they don't trust people. And in order to stay safe, they always came from their own, only caring about themselves. You said something, they felt judged. They gave you the silent treatment when you said something. Again, the illusion of that the relationship is supposed to be perfect, even though it is of the highest. It's an illusion. But after you called this person's bluff, this person's bluff, they still have feelings for you. They ran away because, again, you wanted them to step it up. However, once they ran away, they realized that you're really important to them. They're sorry the way that they were. This was bluff, which we said they're planning on reaching out because they see you everywhere. They dream of you. They see the signs and synchronicities of you everywhere. And they feel like you're their other half. So sometimes people have to mess up in order to realize the importance of who you are and what you are. But I'm going to leave it there, Taurus. You let me know whether you resonate with this. And if you did, let me know in the comments. And if you want to win that free reading, don't forget to like, share, and again, write the magic word. I think I said it was forgiveness. You'll have to go back and listen to the beginning of the video to see. I'm pretty sure it was forgiveness. And let me know. And I will talk to you guys all soon. Bye.